everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuouki Zuisoroku, the original fan disc material, or the extras added to the PS3 version of Stories of the Shinsengumi. We're reading Okita's extras. This time we're going to be doing his part of the Adventures of the Shinsengumi Part 2, so there's going to be some skipping going on. The parts that we have already read in Hijikata's version. So if you haven't already watched Hijikata's, please watch his if you want to get the full story effect. So here we go. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. At the first choice, we must choose to infiltrate Shinpachi again. And this time write a note. And this time we're addressing this note to Okita. It might end up turning into a battle with those warriors. Perhaps Okita would be best. I carefully wrote out my note. When I finished, I asked a young apprentice to hand it off to a messenger so it could be delivered. It didn't take long to receive a response from Okita. His note said,
"I'll head over there as soon as I finish preparing, so be a good girl and wait for me."
"Yes, sir. I hope it doesn't take long." I thought it best to stay put in my own private room until he arrived so that I was out of the way. Yep, probably a good idea. Quite a bit of time passed, and Okita still hadn't shown up. What's going on here? What are you doing making a lady wait? What was going on? Maybe something more important came up, and he had to take care of it first. Suddenly...
"Hold up, I know your face! You're Okita the Shinsengumi!"
Oh, man. I could hear the voice of a man yelling angrily outside my window. "Okita! Oh no!" I scrambled to my feet and rushed out of my room. Not being covert, eh, buddy? In the street just in front of the Sumi was Okita, and he was loosely surrounded by a number of men with swords.
Huh, how come you guys know who I am? Am I somehow more famous than I thought? Shut your trap! We're gonna get revenge for Master Miyabe and the honorable pride of the Higo Imperialist Party. Who was Miyabe again? I killed so many people, they're all starting to blend together.
Ah, bad answer.
Bastard! You'll pay for that!
I wouldn't count on it. The other warriors shouted, drawing their swords. Okita smirked, his eyes laughing as he slowly, teasingly, slid his own blade out of its scabbard and settled into an easy stance. Ah, he looks so hot when he does that. Screw the introductions and just get on with it. You want to kill me as revenge for Master whatever his name is, right? Looks like he's all done. Kill him! The angry group of warriors started advancing inward. I knew blades were going to clash, and there'd be blood in the streets any second now. Oh! What am I gonna do? Movement in the nearby shadow caught my eye. I gasped. That was... Sen? Or Kimigiku? What? Kaoru, what are you doing? Kaoru? That was not a safe location. The battle might shift and she could get caught up in the fight. I had to... scream, because now's not the time to worry about Kaoru. That's going to be its own thing later on. Maybe if I screamed, it might startle the Ronin enough, and they'd get distracted for a moment. I took a deep breath. Ah! My scream reverberated and echoed into the night.
What? Is there someone else here?
Everyone surrounding Okita froze at the sound of my voice. Their heads turned. Don't mind me. Okita saw his opening immediately and charged forward with lightning speed, his blade flickering in and out of warrior after warrior. Well, I made his job easy. Oh, he looks so awesome! Hey, what the hell are you doing outside? Didn't I tell you to be a good girl and wait for me in a private room? No, you just said wait. You didn't say in a private room. Glaring at the remainder of the Ronin who were still moving in, albeit uneasily, he desperately shifted to position himself in front of me. Well, I did wait, for a long time. But you never showed up, and I got worried. Okita grinned lopsidedly. Man. With you here, it looks like I'm protecting a cute girl from villains, like a hero, instead of hunting down some conniving rats. There you go, I'm here to make you look better. I'm not really the type to play that role. Sano's probably a better fit than me. That's true. He totally is that type. He sounded as flippant as always, but I was surprised when he turned toward me. Huh. I guess that's not so bad, though. Besides, you're cute enough to be worth protecting right now. Aww. After looking at me for a long moment, he returned his gaze to the Ronin. I'm surprised they left him alone long enough for that.
Make sure you stay behind my back.
Okay.
Ugh.
Gah! And the attack resumed. Even though keeping me behind him was restricting his movements, he didn't seem bothered by the overwhelming numbers, defeating each with methodical precision. Yeah, this is like child's play for him. One of the Ronin, terrified of the unrelenting death Okita was delivering to his foes, attempted to run away.
Where do you think you're going? Showing your true colors by abandoning your comrades to die? It appears you and your men have been meeting secretly at the Sumi for a while. Why don't you tell us what you're planning?
Saito and Yamazaki both blocked the warrior's path of retreat. They must have heard the commotion from inside, where they'd been stationed by Hijikata. Wait, if these two were down there, why in the world would I have possibly written to Souji? Okay, don't question it right now. Saito! Yamazaki!
Guess it's all over now. We just need to squeeze information out of that coward, and we'll be done here, right?
Saito frowned.
If I recall correctly, our orders were to infiltrate the Sumi, but to avoid any kind of confrontation.
Mission failed.
Well, that's so. I didn't think it really mattered how we got it, so long as we did. Any means necessary and all that.
Well, there were conditions. Apparently you didn't pay attention to them at all.
It's not up to you to make that decision. You must return to headquarters for the commander's next orders concerning this. Huh. I can hear him bitching us. Well, me out already.
Yep. He grimaced. He took a glance in my direction and then suddenly fully turned to face me.
Oh, hey. Seems this pretty geisha is missing her fancy hairpin.
Huh? Oh! I touched my head and it was indeed gone. I was about to panic when I spotted it lying nearby on the ground. It must have fallen out when Okita was protecting me earlier. Things had gotten tense, and everyone close together. I was sure I jostled my head too violently a few times.
Well, still, I'll fix it for you.
Ah, thank you. Alright. Wouldn't take you for that kind of guy. He picked up the golden hairpin and leaned in close, softly sliding it back into place in my hair, his fingers deft and gentle. My heart fluttered inexplicably at the feeling as he took a moment to adjust it just so, his gaze on me unblinking. The moonlight cast a glow over his features, and even though I could feel his eyes on me, I wasn't able to hold his gaze without flushing.
There, perfect. Now your cute look is complete.
Okay? His fingers slowly withdrew. The sensation seemed to linger, and I found I was still unable to look at him. We stood there silently for a few moments before a genuine smile appeared on Okita's face, for once not laced with his usual wry tilt.
I've got to remember how you look right now, since this will be the last time I'll be able to see it. It's a shame. You've gotten so pretty.
You don't know that, and you might be able to see me like this again some other time. The unexpected compliment sent a warm feeling washing over me, my heart leaping into my throat. Yamazaki had started walking off with the prisoner in tow when he stopped and called over his shoulder.
Okita, what are you doing? We must return to headquarters immediately.
Hush up, Yamazaki. We're having a moment.
Okay, I'm coming. Well then, later, Chizuru.
Yes. Okita turned around and made to catch up with Saito and Yamazaki a short distance away. I stood there unmoving until I couldn't see their backs any longer. They interrogated the warrior they brought back with them to discover that his group had been planning to attack the Shinsengumi headquarters. Word of Okita's fight in Shimbara spread like wildfire through Kyoto. The warriors who were always gathering in the Sumi must have become frightened as they didn't show up again after that. Well, we stopped that from happening, but now we lost track of them. A few days passed, and I found myself out on rounds with the 1st Division. Hey, isn't that Okita from the Shinsengumi?
It sure is. I heard he fought off a couple dozen people by himself over in Shimbara the other day.
No, I heard he killed 5 people with one swing of his sword. Oh, jeez. Yeah, things are getting a little out of proportion here.
A good friend of mine told me men were so intimidated by his insane strength that they stopped going to the city entirely. Don't blame him.
Rumors about that night seem to be everywhere, Not a single one was alike. Each one we heard was more exaggerated than the last. As ridiculous as they were getting, at least they served as a kind of deterrent for anyone who thought to cause problems in the area, so perhaps it was for the best.
He seems a little perturbed by it, though. Oh, this is so crazy. This city hears about the simplest event and manages to turn it into the biggest deal. Well, they made it sound like the act of me protecting a pretty girl was some sort of epic tale.
Well, rumors do always get blown out of proportion. I smiled uneasily. He laughed, then peered closely at me, his eyes dancing with amusement. Even without it getting blown out of proportion, it was still pretty amazing.
I wonder who that girl was and where she came from. Can't say I was ever interested in geisha, but if I'd be allowed to see that girl again, I get the feeling I'd go every day. Chizuru, do you know anything?
You tease? No, I don't. Please stop teasing me, Okita. His mouth curved up into a grin, and I had to look away. My reaction must have amused him because he gave me a full-throated laugh when it faded down to chuckles.
Actually, I wasn't teasing you at all.
Oh.
I would visit you every day, if you really did work as a geisha. You're so clumsy, I have to make sure I'm by your side or else you'll drop your hairpin again, or something worse.
That was because you were fighting and... I can't believe he's being so earnest here, so early in the timeline. Totally unlike you, Okita. Ugh, he did it again. I had a feeling he wasn't quite going to let me forget about this event for quite a while. He'd likely teased me for several months. Yep, probably. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do his second memory. Yeah, I think we got enough time. We can do Okita's Memories of Love too. March 1867. The protagonist discovers Okita lounging around outside after his bath, and his hair still wet. Concerned for his well-being, she attempts to chide him, but he ends up teasing us instead, like he usually does?
If you tell anybody, well, I'll probably have to kill you after all.
Familiar words that I've heard many, many times from your mouth. His tone sounded almost like it always did. Even though I wasn't looking, I knew there was probably a smile on his face. I could have turned my head to see, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I knew that if I saw him smiling, when inside he had to be suffering horribly, I would burst into tears. So instead, I gritted my teeth and kept smiling. I'd heard those words from him so many times, but that day, despite his forced cheer, I could hear a melancholy in them. When he asked me to keep the truth of his disease from the others, I agreed. June 1866. Dr. Matsumoto, a friend of my father's and another doctor of Western medicine, had been asked to visit the headquarters. While there, he conducted examinations of all the Shinsengumi soldiers. Most of them received relatively clean bills of health. Okita, however, was diagnosed with tuberculosis. It was a horrible disease. Those infected began to cough up blood as their lungs deteriorated and often died. With rest and proper treatment, there was a chance of recovery, but Okita had no intention of leaving the Shinsengumi, and that meant extended rest was not an option. He was determined to keep fighting, even if that put his life at risk. Nothing I could say to him would get through. All I could do was watch as his sickness progressed, making him bedridden and pushing him away from his position in the Shinsengumi. Each day was more painful than the last. March 1867. But regardless of my feelings, time marched on, and winter came to an end. On that day, the warmth of spring was finally beginning to drive away the cold of winter. Memories of Love, Part 2. March 1867. A bright sun shone in the sky, and for the first time in a long while I could feel the warmth of its rays. There was no question, it was a beautiful afternoon.
Ah, hello, Yukimura. Quite a nice day today, isn't it?
Indeed. There you are. I hurried over toward him. Was I waiting for him? Oh, hello, Inoue. Are you here with Kondo?
Yes, I am. We were taking a stroll around the compound together.
Ah, friends.
We'd like to go outside, but if we leave without permission, I've no doubt Toshi would get terribly upset.
Permission? But you're the boss. You're probably right. Can't you just give notice then? He sounded so adorable when he said it, that I couldn't help but laugh.
Such is life, though. Where are you out and about?
Just enjoying the day?
Is something wrong? I wouldn't think you would leave your room without permission.
What? I thought I'm allowed to walk around and clean things. Right, Hijikata sent me to find you, Kondo. Ah.
Oh, then I apologize for the inconvenience. Did he say what he needed me for? Is there some manner of business I must attend to?
No, he didn't. I shook my head and Kondo frowned slightly in thought.
Could it be about Souji?
My heart jumped.
Souji? Did he do something?
I guess maybe it hasn't gone unnoticed.
Not exactly, but he's been rather under the weather lately. His cold has dragged on for so long now, I think Toshi is concerned. Yes, he is something of a worrier.
I didn't feel right attempting to insert myself in the conversation, so I kept my mouth shut and listened. Okita didn't have a cold, he had tuberculosis. How many people even knew the truth? Was I really the only person in his confidence, however accidental? I don't know.
In any event, I suppose I ought to go see him. Thank you for telling me, Yukimura.
I guess I'll be going back to my room then.
Thank you.
No problem. I bowed to both of them and turned around and headed back. My mind was a whirlwind of thoughts as I made my way to my room. Then, out of nowhere...
Chizuru, what are you doing here?
Heading back to my room? Huh? My head snapped up at the sound of his voice. I spun around to find him sitting on the steps looking at me, but there was something that caught my attention. Ah! Your hair's down! You look so pretty looking at me like that! Huh?
Something wrong, Chizuru? Surprised to see me here? Come on, what's that face for? Not even going to say hi? I'm not dead yet.
You... He tilted his head back and laughed, his hair blowing softly in the breeze. It was a very different sort of look for him, which was enough to unbalance me, but... It was also quite clear he'd just come from a bath. Why are you outside dressed like that? And your hair is wet!
Well, it was nice and warm today, and I haven't had a chance to bask in the sun in goddamn forever.
But aren't you still sick?
Yeah, my fever's gone down though.
That doesn't mean it's okay for you to...
I was pretty sweaty after all that sleeping, so I took a bath. After that, I wanted to cool down, so I came out here.
I don't care how nice the weather is, it's still March. You're going to give yourself another cold. We know it's not a cold already, come on.
That's funny. You don't look like an especially nosy, hand-wringing version of my mother. Or much like Hijikata.
Well, looks can be deceiving, can't they? I wasn't quite sure what to say to that, although I was beginning to understand how Hijikata likely felt. Whatever I said to Okita, I knew he would just smile and laugh it off with some subtly barbed remark. Yep, that's him all right. What are you doing? He looked up, already halfway through tying his still damp hair. You have to dry your hair or your head's going to get cold. I grabbed his towel and began to scrub roughly at his head. Hey, gentle there.
What? Dang, Chizuru, why are you always so pushy?
Always? Come on, it's just one time. Oh, come on. You bought this on yourself.
Were you always like this? I feel like I remember a time when you were nice and quiet.
I ground my teeth. I knew he was sick, but he wasn't taking care of himself at all.
Okay. I think it's dry now.
Let me be the judge of that. Hey! He ducked out from under my hands and quickly tied up his hair. I stared at him at a loss for words. He frowned a little and turned away.
Now you're quiet. Does this mean you're done whining? Or did you want to talk to me about something?
No, that's not... I don't really know why I'm saying this, but you're really good with your hands. And I admire that in a man. I was just thinking that you're pretty good with your hands. You tied your hair up so quickly.
Really? Didn't think it was that impressive. Maybe I'm just used to it. I probably tied it up like that 1,000...
He stopped mid-sentence and turned to stare at me. What's wrong?
Chizuru, I have a question for you.
Oh?
Nothing, important, so don't put too much thought into it. What do you think of my hair? How's it look,
It looks great, I love it. Don't cut it. Why do you guys have to cut your hair? You all look so much better with longer hair. What? It was very nearly the last thing I would have ever expected to hear from Okita, or any of the captains for that matter. But he looked entirely serious, so I did my best to answer honestly. I think it looks good. I don't know quite how to explain it, but it's very you.
Good. Thanks.
No problem. Don't cut it! I felt myself blush at his smile. Just calling it like I see it. I don't think you really need to thank me for that.
Well, you made me happy, so I thought the right thing to do was say thanks.
I felt rather awkward and couldn't bring myself to say anything else.
Actually, I might as well let you in on a secret.
Oh?
I'm sort of copying Kondo's. His hair, I mean.
Really? He looked somewhere halfway between proud and embarrassed. Actually, I feel like I remember hearing him say that somewhere before. Did he say it in the main game? Yeah, I didn't realize it before, but it does look like his. A little bit. Looks a lot better on Souji, though.
Don't tell anybody else, though, okay? They'd all just make fun of me.
Your secret's safe with me. Sure. I wasn't used to seeing Okita so honestly relaxed and easygoing. Perhaps he wasn't quite as cruel as I'd originally thought. The nervous feeling in my stomach that he usually caused was nowhere to be found. He was well within his rights to chastise me. Am I just standing here thinking this whole time and always looking at me like, what are you doing just standing there staring? I'm sorry for bothering you like that. Why hadn't I realized how rude it would be to just snatch the towel out of his hands and try to dry his hair? Because you were so worried.
Huh.
I had hoped you might say something, possibly accept my apology, but it seemed clear that wasn't going to happen. I'll just go back to my room. I spun around and walked away as quickly as I could without running. I had climbed the stairs and was on my way down the hall when...
Chizuru.
I turned around to see him walking down the hall toward me. He looked around furtively to see if anyone else was within earshot, then leaned in.
It looks like you haven't told anyone about my, condition.
Nope, I haven't said a word. Yes, of course. I promised.
I'm just a little surprised. You're pretty honest. I didn't actually expect you to do that. Only supposed to be soldiers that care about duty and stuff.
Not so. He looked almost sad. What, did you want me to tell people? I didn't keep my promise because I felt I owed you. I gave a short laugh. I mean, if I tell anyone, you'll kill me, right? I don't want to die, so I'll never tell anyone. Your secret's safe. Oh, he doesn't like that answer. Oh, wait, you don't get the joke? His eyes narrowed, and for a few moments he just looked at me.
Yeah, I guess that was our deal. If you made any trouble by spreading that tidbit around, then I'd kill you. I hope you make sure it stays a secret then. I wouldn't want to have to make good on that deal.
I know, I will, but... I chose my words carefully. I know you're not just doing this to be stubborn, but if you want to do the things you want to do, then you have to take better care of yourself, please.
I've been curious about this for a while now, but why are you so worried about me?
'Cause I love you. I love all you guys, really. To be honest, I'm not really sure. There was no avoiding the fact that he was a frightening man, and indeed often a cruel one as well, but I still found myself wanting desperately for him to live. I couldn't tell if it was just pity or something else.
I really don't get you. You've got to.
Suddenly, his voice seemed to choke itself off, and he hunched forward. Okita! His body shook with each cough, and I ran toward him. But he shoved my hands away.
Don't touch me, alright? I'm fine.
But... He turned away and stalked off down the hallway. So much for our moment. It was easy to forget the disease that was even now eating away at Okita's body. He was, to all appearances, in fine health, except for during those spells. That easy ignorance, however, was what made reminders of his condition all the more sudden and painful. I felt my hands tighten into fists as I stood there in the hallway, alone and helpless. Oh, my dear Souji. Alright, well, next episode should be Memories of Love, Parts 3 and 4. I don't know, some of Souji's are ending up being a little bit longer. Harada's were pretty short. And some of Hijikata's were short too, but why are Souji's so long? Well, anyway, hope to see you in that next video or some of my other ones, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye, everybody.